Hello, and welcome to the Unit 1 final project, Full Metal Alchemist project. The purpose of this final project is for you to have an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge and understanding about what you learned this unit. We started by learning about atoms, what they're made of, and the characteristics and properties that they possess. And then we moved into our nuclear chemistry, which allows us to apply using the different representations for atoms, particularly the nuclear notation symbol, and practice our understanding of between mass number and an atomic number, etc. So this final project, your goal is to devise a step-by-step process or mechanism for turning a base metal into gold. Now, remember, this is helpful because of our essential question: is alchemy a real science? And alchemists were trying to turn base metals like lead into gold. So you guys are going to see if you can actually do that. Now, with that being said, what are the base metals? I've listed them up here: copper, zinc, nickel, iron, lead, and tin. What I'm going to do in this video is demonstrate for you sort of what this process would look like converting, I'm going to use the example of copper, converting it to gold. Now, because I'm doing this example with copper, you cannot use copper for your project. You can use any of the other ones. So zinc, nickel, iron, lead, tin, you can use any of those. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that's important to note is that once you've chosen your base metal, you need to choose the isotope that is most abundant isotope. And in this document, which is linked as the instructions for your project in your project document, I give you a link for finding the percent abundance. You can use that information to figure out which one's the most abundant. So in the case of copper 63 has a 69.17% abundance. So that means it's the most abundant or most common. So I'm going to use copper 63, and I'm going to use this as my max number. That's your percent abundance. I'm using this as the max number. So 63 goes up top. Now I need to find the atomic number of copper. So for that, of course, I would go to my periodic table. Copper has an atomic number of 29. Okay, now the next thing it says, it tells you that we are also going to form the most abundant isotope of gold. So this is a symbol for gold, is Au. And the only isotope that's stable and naturally occurring is gold 197. So that's the one we're going to use. So again, that mass number, 197, goes on top. And the atomic number for gold, you can find it in the periodic table. Here's gold, 79. Now, everyone should have this as their product, but what you're starting with will be different depending on the element, the base metal you choose. Okay, now we want to go from here to here, but we can't do that on one step. We have to use 7 steps. So what's helpful for that is first to figuring out what does your change in mass number need to be, and what does your change in atomic number need to be in order to get there. So let's talk about the change in mass number. We're starting off with copper 63, trying to get to 197. So the amount that we would need to go from 63 plus something to get to 197. All right? So that would mean that we need to gain 134 as our mass number. And we would gain that through adding a combination of protons and neutrons to this nucleus. And again, we have to do that in 7 steps. For the atomic number, we want to go from 29 to 50. Sorry, 29 to 79. I'm sorry, I just gave you the answer there. And that means we want to add 50 protons. So we're going to have to add 50 protons, all right? So this is how you're going to start this process, is first figuring out, well, what do you need to do to get from there to there, from what you're starting with to what you're trying to end with. And once you have that in mind, then it gives you a better sense of, well, what exactly can you do? Now, remember, you have to do 7 steps, and you have to have at least one fusion, one fission reaction, an alpha decay, a beta decay, and a gamma decay. Okay? I don't care what order of steps you use this in, but however you want to do it. Now, one thing I will note about the fusion versus the fission, remember for fusion, you're making it larger. And in this case, that would make sense. We would want to, since we want to add 134 to the mass number and 50 to the atomic number, we would think that we would want to undergo fusion. However, I'm asking you to do things that are actually splitting up the atom and making it smaller, like fission, alpha, and beta decay. Although beta decay converts a neutron to a proton, right? But these two in particular will make the mass of the nucleus smaller. So that means that when you're doing this, one thing you want to consider is getting to a number that's above where you want to, and then going back down to the number, in the mass or atomic numbers until you can get to gold. Okay. Now, next time we're in class, I'm going to show you some examples of what it looked like, what other students have done in the past, so you can see what their work looks like. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your steps labeled. This is only 4 steps, but you need 5. And you're also going to label the types of reactions for each step. All right. In terms of after you've completed your work, you're going to, of course, submit it. You can either take a picture of it and insert it, do your work in a Google slide and insert the link for that, or just type your work directly into the document. So however you would like to do it. And then, of course, you have some reflection questions that you need to answer. Okay? And they're on this instructions document. Finally, for the last page, there are some resources here that you can use to help you to do what it is that you need to do. Now, this project is an open-ended project. There is no right or wrong answer. As long as you're doing the things that I asked you to do, 7 steps, at least one from the 5 types of reactions that we've learned. You're starting with the most abundant isotope for the base metal that you choose, and you're forming gold 197. Outside of that, you can do whatever you want. So it's kind of an open-ended thing, which some people makes them feel uncomfortable. So with that being said, I'm going to encourage you to continue to reach out if you need help. Remember, this assignment is due on the 28th, Monday. So you'll have a couple of weekends, and you can do it with a peer if you want to, a group, no more than 4, including yourself, and or you can do it independently. So totally up to you. All right, I hope you found this video helpful in terms of a suggestion for getting started by figuring out the change in the mass and atomic number for your base metal and your product. Okay, that's it for this video. Have a quality day.